Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome back to Adventure Capital, where we not only discuss the entrepreneurial journeys and adventures with founders who have raised capital on Wefunder, but also the different resource providers and mentors helping founders along the way. Huzzah! Today we have Sam Monac, Token Metrics, a platform that helps users build profitable crypto portfolios driven by the power of AI. Quite the tool. Before we get on with the podcast, we're required to let everyone know that anything we say here should not be interpreted as investment advice, recommendations, or soliciting investments in any company. All companies raising on Wefunder are given an equal opportunity to participate in the podcast based on the progress of their campaign. Wefunder gang, take it away.
Sam, great to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jonny.
Yeah, maybe you could start off by telling us who is Sam Monac? You're the COO at Token Metrics, but how did you come to be in that role? Maybe a bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. So yes, Sam Monac, Chief Operating Officer. How I got into this role, I started in 2017. I actually graduated from the University of Vermont with a degree in finance, which kind of correlates, and the minor in economics. And after that, I took a job at Liberty Mutual. I absolutely hated it, did not want to be involved in that at all. What I was doing was essentially my dad was a real estate attorney, so he'd do purchase and sale agreements on people's houses, and he was able to send them over to me and as an insurance agent, and I could make a lot of money doing that, but did not like it. So what I did like at that time was crypto. I saw that I had a couple of Bitcoin since when I was 17, and I saw that the value of them had skyrocketed. So I essentially started learning everything I possibly could about crypto. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have been involved in crypto know how this happens. You get an understanding of crypto, and then you get really, really excited about it. So it was to the point that I wasn't really sleeping. All I was doing researching crypto. And that's when I found Ian. So Ian was talking about economic empowerment for all humanity. I was like looking for my life's mission, and that spoke to me like loud and clear. I was so excited about him talking about that. So I reached out to him and I said, I'll do anything to be a part of this mission. Please let me come on board. I need to be a part of this. So he brought me on board. I started as community admin. So I moderated his Telegram group in 2017. Ian had a huge following. Everyone was really excited about what he was doing, kind of similar to me. So I was in his Telegram group, which had around 30,000 people. Then I moved into a role of ICO analyst. I was pretty much the first person that Ian gave the work of doing crypto reviews to. So he created this framework looking at a bunch of different cryptocurrency data points and figuring out which crypto is going to go up or down. In that role, I found Helium Network and several other cryptos that had done extremely well. Helium was the first one I brought to Ian, literally the first project that I brought to Ian. And I said, this is an amazing project. It scores 80% on our fundamental analysis. And that is when I, started really working in this token metrics field. So the research framework that he was using, that fundamental analysis framework, he was calling token metrics, but we hadn't created a platform yet. So I was ICO analyst. We were doing a bunch of different blockchain advisory. We had a firm called 100X Advisors. So Ian, Ugo, and Diego, who are board members on Token Metrics now, started 100X Advisors, and I was their ICO analyst. So I was the guy that did the spreadsheet essentially. And then what happened after that was I was traveling around the world. So I was in Malta, Istanbul. We were doing speaking engagements and having a bunch of our people from our community come, and we would research ICOs directly with them, like have pitch competitions, kind of like Shark Tank for ICOs. And that's when we found Matic Network. in India. And then after all of that, we essentially saw that there was a big problem. No one knew what cryptocurrency they should invest in. And that's when we were like, okay, let's create a platform. So Ian started Tokenmetrics, and I was the first person on Tokenmetrics. I was the director of research. So I created with Ian the fundamental research framework we use to evaluate cryptocurrencies. So looking at 26 different data points to find what crypto is good or not good, and then also help with the technology code review framework. And then I was head of investor relations. After that, raised some money in our Reg D offering. So this is around 2019, 2020, and now chief operating officer. So that's my career trajectory, 4 years.
Very cool. And so I need to dig into a few things there. Firstly, kind of what excited you about crypto at a high level? Secondly, I'm curious about how you guys are analyzing ICOs, because obviously there's been a bunch of really spectacular high profile failures. And so kind of curious about what analysis is going into figuring out that rating of 80% that you mentioned for helium. And then thirdly, kind of like, I guess feeding into what is Tokenmetrics and what do you guys do? And you kind of touched on it already, but I mean, let's start with the first question. How did you get into crypto? Or more importantly, I guess, like, why are you excited about crypto? You talked about economic empowerment. Like, for someone that doesn't understand the future and the benefits of crypto, how would you frame it to them?
Okay, so I guess start with why crypto. Some pretty big technological forces are lining up to put us at our company, Tokenmetrics, at the forefront of reinventing this, the finance industry, which is a multi-trillion-dollar mission. So in the early days of the internet, it was obvious to some people what the potential of the internet would be to changing the world, especially when we look back. And it wasn't until like 20 or 30 years later that people can actually realize how true that the internet was going to change the way that we lived. And we see cryptocurrency as exactly the same way, a technology that's already changing the world and is going to continue to do leagues more. That's evidenced by the folks that are adopting crypto: PayPal, Facebook, major brokerage houses. Michael Saylor and Elon Musk are really great social proof for crypto. So Michael Saylor said about Bitcoin specifically, he said, for the first time in the history of man, we created a software network to collect, channel, and store monetary energy. And the reason that he's saying that this is so important is because people, most importantly, regular people, but also companies, have a bunch of monetary energy, and that's being debased by 10 to 20% a year by the expansion of the monetary supply. So he was saying that there's he had a 500. What Michael Saylor did in 2020 is he took $425 million and he just put it right into Bitcoin. And then he started investing more and more and more money into Bitcoin. And then it was raising convertible debt and putting that into Bitcoin. So he's a CEO of a publicly traded company.
But what is it about, what is exciting to you or to Michael Saylor about crypto? Why are you so convinced that, just as in whenever kind of early 90s, oh wow, the future of the internet is going to be so huge? Like, what is the pitch to someone that's kind of on the fence about like whether crypto is going to be this big thing? What is your best pitch to them about why this is going to be the future?
I guess the best pitch is probably to start with, like, if you start with what is money. Money is essentially just a language. It's a communication of value among people. It's one of the oldest technologies that there is, and it's gone through several different developments, starting with bartering and moving into precious metals, and then moving over to government printed money. And now we believe crypto is the next phase of money, and Bitcoin is probably the most it is the most important development in financial history.
Why, or like what's the advantage of a decentralized like monetary system?
Because with crypto, money is no longer controlled by the governments who blindly print it, and financial access is not controlled by the top 1%. So the top 1% normally, when you have a system where it's kind of a pyramid, not an actual pyramid, but you have the top 1% that has control of all of the printing and everything that's going on with the system. That breeds parasitic behavior. So when you have a decentralized,
same with Bitcoin though, probably there's a small number of rich people that have the vast majority of Bitcoins.
So that's not really totally the case.
Like Michael Saylor probably has a lot.
Yeah, he has a lot of it, but he doesn't have the vast majority of it. It's not just Bitcoin either. There's so many different cryptocurrencies that are really, really amazing. It wouldn't just be, I wouldn't just say just Bitcoin is the only crypto.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess shifting gears to my next question was around like what factors you guys at Tokenmetrics are looking at when you're analyzing, kind of an ICO, let's say, or a token or a coin. Like what are you kind of evaluating there?
Yeah, so we do a fundamental analysis, and that fundamental analysis, there's really three different things that we do. We look at the fundamentals. So that takes into account a initial screening of the crypto, looks at the scarcity of the cryptocurrency, because we believe that more scarce coins have a little bit more value when inside of the code of the crypto, you could write like there's X amount of cryptos. Bitcoin, for example, has 21 million. And we give a lot of value to coins that have deflationary economic token models. And then we look at market standing. So market standing is, do they have customers and users? Does the token fulfill any utility? Are they leading the pack in terms of competition? Does it create a market, address an unmet need, create value for network participants? And then we look at the development of the crypto. How many years have they been in business? And then we look at liquidity. What exchanges is the token trading on? Are there fiat or crypto pairs on those exchanges? Then the marketing, do they get a lot of traffic on their website? Do they have a big community? Does the company website have team bios? Or are they written about a lot in mainstream media? Then we look at the reputation of the crypto. Does it have the white paper? Does it read with real world implementation? Then we look at the team. But that's the first part. So we can do a fundamental analysis pretty quickly. And then after we do that, we go and do a code review. So the code review is when we can start to learn more about the actual technology behind the cryptocurrency. So that's looking at innovation, like how innovative is the project?
Who does the code review? Do you have like engineers on team that do that?
We have blockchain engineers that complete the code reviews after the project scores really high on fundamentals. So this is part of what Tokenmetrics does, but we also have a bunch of.
It sounds like this is like a very needed kind of service to exist in the marketplace, because as I was mentioning earlier, right, it's been a little bit of the Wild West sometimes. Like there's been some kind of ICOs that raised a bunch of money, like didn't work out. I mean, that's always the case in startup investing, but I feel like some kind of analysis around, or some kind of research that kind of helps people in hopefully making more informed decisions seems like probably welcome in the space. And I mean, this is kind of leading us on to my third question, which is the Tokenmetrics business model. So it sounds like it evolved naturally out of Ian and yourself doing research on ICOs and coins, and then kind of it became clear that, oh wow, like there's an opportunity for a business here, and you built the Tokenmetrics platform, I think founded in 2019. So can you kind of like maybe just from the top articulate, okay, what is the business model? Who are your customers? How are you guys making money, etc.?
Okay, yeah, sure. So who our customer is, who's our audience, it's pretty much anyone who's interested in making a sound investment and also a healthy profit in crypto. Could be people that are crypto curious, people that haven't actually invested in digital assets, crypto assets, and want to learn more, all the way over to seasoned crypto people who are looking to maximize return on their investment. So there's really those two audiences. The mainstream audience, the crypto curious people, they're frustrated about the status quo of the current financial system, believe that there's promise in cryptocurrency. They just want to make money. Anyone who's intrigued with this may, suffer from fear of missing out. So that these people want to come in and learn as much as they can, as quick as they can from our platform. And then there's also the crypto investor audience who might already have some crypto and are looking for more sophisticated crypto analysis, guidance and direction. So that's like the two different people that we're kind of going after. That's our customer.
I was watching the Big Short movie the other day about 2008 crash. And one of the challenges that was identified was that the rating agencies were basically, the people whose CDOs they were rating were kind of in their pocket, right? So do you guys have, I presume you have like interaction with the, founders of crypto companies. And so how do you kind of maintain like independence and, maybe you have a relationship with a founder in the community. Obviously crypto community is a lot bigger than it was 5-10 years ago, but how do you maintain that independence?
Yeah, so when we switched over to Token Metrics, we didn't have as much relationship with the different crypto projects. At the beginning, yes, definitely. When we were learning about how to analyze cryptocurrencies, I was getting on calls with some of the crypto founders. Sandeep Nawal of Matic is a good example. I was on like 10, 15 calls with him as we analyzed his cryptocurrency. And then we talked about his crypto amongst our whole audience. Same with Helium Network, a bunch of the different people from Helium. These are Helium since we found it went 190x and Matic went 830x. It's like since we were screaming at all of our customers, these coins are amazing. So yes, we used to have relationships with them. As we moved over to Token Metrics, we've kind of not done, like when we built the platform out, we haven't really done as much with the founders and we don't have anyone advertised on Token Metrics at all, because that would
you want to kind of maintain that independence. That's a cool kind of tangible kind of step that you can take in that direction. What about regulatory wise? Like, are you guys registered independent investment advisors, or how do you need to be regulated if you're kind of advising people invest in Matic or invest in Helium?
Yeah, so this is not financial advice, is pretty big in everything that we do. So essentially what happened is there's the Investment Act of 1940, which allows us to be there's an exemption that we fall under in that Investment Advisors Act of 1940, where we are an independent, we're a publisher, like a media publisher of all of our suites of products. So 3 suites of products: price predictions, indices, and ratings. And we're just a publisher of our ratings. So this crypto is the best. This crypto, this is the portfolio of cryptos that we publish that we think is good, but we're not saying to go in and invest in all of these. As we move forward, and after we raise our crowdfund round, the $4 million we're going to raise through your platform, we will start to look into the goal will be to try to become registered and then have a RIA, so a registered investment advisor, and we'll have a robo advisor would be our plan, kind of like Wealthfront or Betterment for crypto. That's what we're moving towards.
That's a beautiful segue into the Wefunder campaign. So how did you and Ian decide to raise capital? I guess 2 questions here. One is from the crowd. That one, I feel like the answer is probably quite simple. You've kind of tipped your hat at that already. Second one, maybe more interesting here, is like, Why raise through regulation crowdfunding in a kind of a, versus do a, ICO?
Yeah, so if we do an ICO, then we have issues trying to become that robo-advisor that I was the registered investment advisor, and then moving forward towards the robo-advisor. We do actually have some other plans that are quite unique that we're not really sharing currently around something similar to what you're talking about. We haven't, those are plans and then not real. But in terms of the why raise through Wefunder, so when I was head of investor relations, we're raising the Reg D offering. So going out and telling our community, like, everyone, you have a chance to invest. And then they're like, no, we don't have a chance to invest. We're not accredited investors. So our community was getting upset. And we do talk about economic empowerment for all humanity. So we want all of our community to have the ability to invest.
Not just the millionaires and billionaires.
Exactly. So we want every single person to have the ability to put some money in and own a little portion of equity in Tokemetrics. Then that's the reason that we decided to move forward.
That's awesome. Who did you raise the Reg D from? Was that from accredited investors in your own community, or any institutional investors in there?
So Tokemetrics currently has 3 suites of products. We have 3 different, not 3 suites of product, 3 different plans. We have a hodler plan, an investor plan, and a professional plan. So the people that are in our professional plan pay a pretty high premium to have access to our Telegram network. And our Telegram group has around 800 people in it. So these are the people that we raise the money from, because they have money. So they were able to invest in our Reg D offering with us.
Cool. And how's the campaign been going so far?
Good. I think that we're at like $4.6 million in indicated interest. We're still testing the waters currently.
Yeah, 2,500 investors.
Yeah, so that's great. And then we have our Form C should be ready to go. Like that, we literally just cleaned that all up today. So hopefully we should be able to raise the money definitely this week. I'm not sure what day. Ian just has to sign the Form C.
Great stuff. Well, Sam, it's been an awesome conversation. Thanks so much for taking the time to walk me through both your journey and the Tokemetrics story. And yeah, good luck with wrapping up the Wefunder campaign and using that to grow the business.
Thank you, Jonny. Great to be here.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Venture Capital. I hope you laughed, took notes, shed a tear, and most importantly, feel ready to go off on your own adventure. And remember, whenever you are ready, Wefunder is here to help.